Hi, my name's Tom Meitzel. I'm a licensed real estate broker in the state of Wisconsin, and welcome to our buyer video series. Today we're going to be talking about the contingencies that you're going to have in your offer. When you make an offer on a property, you're going to need to have several contingencies. Unless you're paying cash, the most important contingency is going to be a financing contingency. In the financing contingency, you will put how much money you're going to be putting down, what interest rate is acceptable to you, what the total payment you're comfortable making will be. Now, if you can't get financing under those terms, you are able to cancel your deal and get your earnest money deposit back. So a financing contingency is critical. As part of that financing contingency, you're also going to have an appraisal contingency, which says if the property doesn't appraise for what you've offered for it, you also can get out of the transaction. Now, in today's environment, the appraisers are, if anything, appraising low, not high. So if it appraises at what you're paying for, you can be pretty confident you've got a solid deal. Another contingency that's going to be important is an inspection contingency. Now, an inspection contingency allows you to come in and inspect the property for things that you may not have seen before. An inspector is a licensed professional, so they'll come in, evaluate the property, and give you a report on anything that's bad or should be repaired. And if there's something major wrong, you can go back to the seller and ask them to either repair it, or once again, you can use that as a reason to get out of the deal. Now, I always tell my clients that there's always going to be things wrong in a home. If it's under $500 or so, I tell my clients not to make a big issue of it. But if it's something significant, like the furnace has got a cracked heat exchanger and it's going to need to be replaced, or the water softener is bad, certainly we're going to go back and ask the seller to fix that. Now, if you want to do tests, that's different than inspections. A test for, let's say you want to do a lead-based paint test, which is pretty uncommon, but a radon test, which is pretty common. There's a lot of radon gas in this area. A radon test can be done as part of the regular inspection, but you have to specifically ask for it. It's not covered under the inspection contingency. So if you want a radon test, make sure your realtor puts it in. It's usually not very expensive, and it checks for the presence of any radon gas. If there is radon gas, you can ask the seller to remediate it, and that is fairly simple to do, fairly inexpensive for the seller. Generally runs $800 to $1,200, but that provides the additional safety for you as a buyer. So make sure that your realtor puts in an inspection contingency, a finance contingency, an appraisal contingency, and any other contingencies that you think are necessary to make you comfortable. If you're buying a property in the country, you're also going to have a well and septic inspection contingencies, because the bank will not loan you money on a property with a well and septic unless those have been inspected as well. So watch your inspection contingencies, make sure that you meet the timelines, because you only have a certain amount of time to get these done, because once you get past the timeline, you have accepted the property as is, and you're not going to have any recourse under the inspection contingency.